visible to me? Where are others? Were you busy in some other online lecture in first 2 hours?
From 9 to 10 there was a lecture.
Okay. Okay, so they probably will be connecting this link, or further 1 or 2 minutes we can wait for them.
So we should wait, I think.
Okay, okay. I finished discussion on this equation, the journal equation for development length, simply derived from the pull-out test methodology, that you have a bar in which at two sections, if you know the stresses, their difference, if you make them equal to Fy, so at one end of the bar if the stress is 0 and the other end if it rises to Fy, so within the length this change in stress if is taking place, then how much length is required to stress the bar from 0 to Fy, minimum length required. So this slide number 18 describes that in this way we can estimate that minimum length required, and it has the proportionality with steel grade and die of bar, and it is inversely proportional with the mu average, and mu average has the relationship with the under root of Fc prime. So LD is actually inversely proportional to the square root of Fc prime. So from this, now we want to extend our discussion about the development length. About the development length, we have the equations which are proposed by ACI. So I want to discuss those equations which are more journal purpose, and in 2019 publication of ACI, these equations are revised. Earlier codes 2014 and earlier, there were little you can say modifications made in the latest 2019 publication. So this presentation, as I have named it, that bond and development length, and it is according to 318/2019. So you need to apply them for your design purpose, and in exams you will also be encouraged to use these equations. Z.A. Siddiqui book available in Strength of Material Lab and few other books online have modified their contents according to the 2019 ACI code, but some authors have not yet converted the references to the latest publications of ACI. So, but preferably, if you are allowed to use the formula sheet book, then please make sure that in that reference book the equations are latest one, or if some equations we need to solve the problem, we can also provide you in question paper those set of equations, but those will be according to the latest ACI code. So still 24 are visible to me. So let us start, and then I will check later on that how many are present at the moment. So as I said earlier that this article I have copied from 2019 publication of ACI in chapter 25. Article 25.4.2 describes development of deformed bars and wires in tension. So we need to now consult this chapter to determine the development of the deformed bars. Here in 25.4.2.1, development length for deformed bars and wires in tension shall be greater of A and B. So A and B are given underneath and it is stated and. So you need to check both of them and out of them greater will be selected. So the B part is directly recommended is that no bar can have a development length LD less than 1 foot, 300 millimeters. So whether or lower dia, you need to calculate from equation A the development length, and if it comes out to be less than 300 millimeter, you have to provide 300. Now in A part, it is mentioned that further we have 2.3 and there is OR in between and then 2.4. So in accordance with length, development length should be calculated in accordance with either 2.3 or 2.4 by using applicable modification factors which are given in these equations, and those factors are summarized in 2.5. So first we will discuss 2.3, then 2.4 and the applicable modification factors given in table which has the number 25.4.2.5. Now first let's discuss 2.3. So I copied this table directly from the ACI code, and it is the development length for deformed bars and wires in tension. Two columns are given. Column first describes the LD for all bars number 19 and smaller, and second column provides LD for all bars number 22 and larger. So if you are using standard SI bars, then you can consider this column as number 25, number 20 and lesser, and this second column will be 20 and larger. So this is actually for standard SI, we need to have the larger dia column given 20 and it is, for example, if standard SI bars are used, then it means for 20 and lesser this column, and 25 because the next designation in standard SI is 25, then this column will be for 25 and larger. Furthermore, if you examine the equations, you will find LD is directly proportional to Fy as we discussed in the previous slide, slide number 18. It is directly proportional to dia of bar, and it is inversely proportional to Fc prime. So more or less the journal framework is same, but in addition to, there are other modification factors which are given in the equations. So in all of them, you will find additionally 4 modification factors. Psi t is Greek psi is used in numerator for these factors psi t, psi e and psi g, and in denominator. Furthermore, we have a numerical value 2.1 and 1.7 in first and second column respectively. So the bigger denominator will actually LD. And in the first row, you will find that in the first column, there is some description, spacing and cover provided. And I have given the number, the name of the first row as case 1 and the second paragraph as case 2. And actually it is the first row, and within the first row in spacing and cover description, they are providing you two options, and there is or in between, that if either case 1 or case 2 is present, you are allowed to use first row. Now what is case 1 and case 2? I will explain it through some pictures which are on next slide. If the spacing and requirements are not according to case 1 or case 2, then your case will fall in other cases. And for other cases, still we have another proposal, recommended LD, and you will find that almost all components are same except the numerical value in the denominator, so it is dropped in comparison to first row, so more LD will actually be achieved when you are consulting the other cases. So it means if spacing and cover are not fulfilling the recommended, then we will have to increase the LD and other cases are to be followed. Now what is case 1? Our first paragraph, it can be described through this picture. So it is easy to understand that what they are demanding, that if you are working on the development length of this corner bar, then how much covers are available in the cross section. Recommended is that if the edge cover and the bottom cover is at least equal to dB, dia of bar itself, or greater, and the clear gap between the bars at least equal to dB or greater, and the clear gap between the layers at least equal to dB or greater. So this kind of confinement, cover, if is present, and the clearance between bars and the layers if it is present, along with the confinement with ties, that if the bars are also enveloped by the tie and the tie's spacing is not wider than the minimum recommended by ACI code, and that is half of the effective depth. So the spacing recommended by ACI is that you have to provide ties, where otherwise if not required by design, still minimum recommended is the spacing not wider than half of the effective depth. So if this is the confinement present along with the clear spacing and clear gap, edge and bottom covers, then you are allowed to use these set of equations for number 19 and lower dia bar, and number 22 and larger dia bar respectively. So please mute your mics. I can hear your background noise. And if this is the case 1 present, you can avail these equations. Further, there is another option given, or, which is case 2. In case 2, more or less, the conditions are almost similar in terms of edge cover and bottom cover, that the clear edge cover and bottom cover is not less than at least half of at least equal to the die of the bar which is under discussion. For example, if this is the bar I'm investigating, and still we have the covers at least equal to die of bar itself, but in addition to them, the clear gap between bars and the clear gap between layers should not be less than 2 times die of bar. So the clear gap between the bars and between the layers is little more strict, but here they have waived off the requirement of confinement ties. There is no tie present, but yes, the clearance is now a little more strict. Even if this is the situation in the cross section and you are investigating the development length, you are allowed to use row 1. If both cases are absent, then you will go for case 2. Now we want to discuss that what are these applicable modification factors, which he said that 2.3 or 2.4 by using applicable modification factors given in 2.5. Now we want to discuss at 2.5 where modification factors given in the set of equations are summarized. First, lambda, which was the factor in denominator, which is lightweight aggregate factor. With the lightweight aggregate concrete, your bond strength will be relatively less, so you need more development length, so which has been adjusted by taking the lambda in the denominator less than 1, so it will magnify your LD. However, for normal weight aggregate concrete, you are not required to increase the LD and lambda will be 1. For example, in Pakistan, if you are using Sargodha, Margala or Sakhi Sarwar, which are normal weight aggregate concretes, normal typical construction projects, your 1 will prevail. However, if you are using some synthetic or natural lightweight aggregates on some special projects, then you will be requiring to select lambda less than 1. In addition, in numerator, there was one factor psi g. G stands for grade, reinforcement grade. For all bars number 420 and less, this will remain neutral. So your LD will be unaltered because psi g will remain 1. But for higher grade bars, now SCI has recommended that if in some project you are using high grade steel, then for 550 grade 15% enhancement is recommended, and for 690 grade bars 1.3 30% enhancement is recommended. So now it has been adjusted in the LD equation that for higher grades if are allowed, but you need to increase the LD. Furthermore, there was other factor, epoxy coating factors, psi E. To prevent rusting, you need to coat the bars, but obviously by coating them, your bond will be compromised because chemical adhesion will be less, will be absent actually, and friction will also be minimized. So epoxy coated or zinc and epoxy dual coated bars with clear cover less than 3 times of their dia and clear spacing less than 6 times dia, so strict that if you are using epoxy coated or dual coated, your clear spacing and your clear covers, if they are 6 dB or 3 dB not present, you need to magnify the development length by 50%. However, if you are providing 3 dB or 6 dB, such strict requirement for coated bars, then you are allowed to use enhancement of 20%. However, for uncoated bars, which is normally practiced, no need to magnify the LD and it will remain neutral 1 in numerator. Then there was one other factor in the equation, that was psi t. We have discussed lambda, psi g, psi e, and then there is another factor psi t. In the equation which I will discuss next one, which is 2.4, because on the first slide it was stated here on slide number 19 that 2.3 or 2.4, which will be our next equation of discussion. In 2.4, actually, this psi s is present, which has been summarized in the same table, which is 2.5. So psi s we will apply in the next equation, but just briefly I can introduce that this psi s actually will address the size of the bar. Since in 2.3 there were two set of equations for number 19 and lesser dia and number 22 and larger dia, so size has already been adjusted by providing two different set of equations for different dia bars. But now in 2.4 there is one equation and it will cover all dias, so size factor is incorporated in equation so as to address all bars, and it is recommended that for number 22 and larger, psi s will remain 1, so LD will be unaffected. But if you are using lower dia, you can reduce the LD by 20%. So this is the recommendation which I will discuss on, and I will talk about next equation. However, the 2.3 table, the equations use psi t as well, which is the location factor. And what is this location factor? Let me explain it through one picture. That if you have a cross section and you are having top bars and you want to calculate the development of top bars, hogging region, if the clear cover below the fresh concrete depth below the bars is greater than 300 millimeter. If this is the condition that you want to calculate the development length of the top bars, and for these top bars you want to calculate the development length, but in your cross section the depth of fresh concrete below the top bar is greater than 300 millimeter. There are some cross sections which are deep. If this is the situation, you have to increase the LD of top bars by 30%. However, if the fresh concrete below them is not greater than 300, then you can use this location factor psi t equal to 1. Why for the depth greater than 300 this 30% enhancement is proposed? The reason is quite logical, that when you will pour the fresh concrete in the formwork and when you start vibrating it for compaction, air bubbles entrapped in the concrete mass will tend to escape. Once they find their way to escape, few of them may settle under the top reinforcement due to their provided obstruction. So they may not be able to 100% escape, and they may get accumulated under the bars. In addition, when you will vibrate the concrete, water and as well as finer particles will tend to migrate up, and it is quite possible that fine aggregates and water bubbles may settle around the top bars, and this will be particularly true when the sections are deep. Hence, it is understandable that the concrete in lower layers will be of good quality, and in upper layers it may be of little inferior quality. Hence, to adjust this drop in quality or drop in bond strength, this 30% enhancement is proposed. Under the table, there is one note given that if you are using, suppose, a epoxy coating bar, and the clear cover and the clear spacing is not according to 3 dB and 6 dB, so you are recommended to use 1.5 as the factor for coating. And moreover, it is a top bar with the fresh concrete below it more than 300, and you are asked to use 1.3 as the location factor. So 1.5 into 1.3, you will select two factors, psi t and psi e. In this case, code is permitting you that once you take the product with 1.5 into 1.3, reduce the answer to 1.7. So it will be greater than 1.7 when you multiply them. But it is recommended here that the product need not exceed 1.7. So 70% enhancement is quite safe rather than going higher than 1.7. Reduce it to 1.7. So in this way, now I can apply these set of equations for a example problem. It is also copied from the commentary of ACI, and ACI recommends that the designer may easily construct simple and useful expressions for their project. For example, if you are on a project where you are using FC prime 28 megapascal and grade of steel for 20 megapascal, and you want to calculate the LD for all bars number 22 and larger, and furthermore you want to calculate the development length of bottom bars. So you have the specifications with you that all the members will take normal weight aggregate concrete, reinforcement is uncoated, and bars are bottom. So you want to now estimate the tension development length. Definitely you will ask for the detailing, that the bars for which you are calculating the LD, what are the cover and the clear spacing between the bars. So can you apply first row or second row? So if this is in your mind that whether in this project case 1 or case 2 is valid or other cases are valid. But if you want to construct equations for both possibilities, case 1 or case 2, or otherwise for other cases you can calculate the LD for both options, option 1, option 2. So I am actually working on number 22 and larger bar. So I will select the second column. First, let's call the first row and assume that case 1 or case 2 will be present in the project. Then what is the expression? It has 1.7 in the denominator. Since grade is 420, location factor, coating factor, grade factor, all are 1 because bars are bottom. So the fresh concrete below the bar is not greater than 300. So psi t will take 1. Grade is 420. So psi g is 1. It is normal weight aggregate concrete. So the lambda is also 1. Bar is uncoated. So psi epoxy is also 1. So all 1, 1, 1, 1 factors, applicable factors, along with the steel grade and concrete FC prime at 28 days, I am putting, and I am keeping dia bar as variable because I want to use it for different dia bars, number 22 and larger. Once I simplify, I get a very useful expression that on this project of steel and concrete grade 420 and 28 megapascal respectively, I have a demand of straight deformed bar in tension equal to 47 times dB. However, if cover and clear spacing is not fulfilling case 1 or case 2 requirement, then other cases recommends the second row, and in second row equation the denominator drops to 1.1. Rest of the factors all are same. So then the equation recommends that the straight deformed bar in tension for number 22 and larger dia bar will be 72 dB. So it jumps from 47 to 72 dB. So if just for assessment purpose, I ask you that what will be the LD if I am using 47 dB for number 25 bar. So it means 47 into 25. How much will be the LD? Can you calculate 47 into 25? Anyone?
1175.
How much?
1175.
1175. 1175 millimeter. So I even write it like this. It is nearly equal to 1.2 meter. I can divide this with 1000 and round up. So equation 1 propose straight bar LD 1.2 meter. And if I use other cases option, then 72 into 25.
1800.
जी जनाब.
1800. 1800.
Okay, then it is 1.8. I am converting millimeter into meter. Answer will be in millimeter, so divide it with 1000. So look at the difference, that equation 1, when you have good confinement and good covers, clear spacing, you can drop the LD from 1.8 to 1.2 meter. So in this way, for any bar, number 36, if I am asking you that on this project, number 36 bar will be used, you will be multiplying 47 with 36. So it means this 1.2 or 1.8 meter is the minimum length required to get the steel yield. Because this LD actually indirectly tells me that this much length, if it is provided in the reinforced member, within this length, steel bar will develop, and beyond this length, now steel bar can be subjected to Fy. But within 1.2 or 1.8 meter, whatever case is applicable, I can't expect that I can let the steel yield. So this much length will be zone of development.
Sir,
In this way, you can construct useful expressions for your project. And if you want to construct similar set of equations for number 19 and lower bar, then you need to consult first column and construct your equations. In general notes on construction drawings, you will find that designers normally write such kind of expressions that on the site engineer can use such equations to check the length of development, and then during execution it will be easier to handle the zones of development and the confinement and covers what are important that must be implemented, because on the background in calculating them, the designer has actually selected some spacing and cover requirements. Yes, please, you want to question something?
yes, sir. This 1.2 or 1.8 meter length, is a maximum requirement or minimum requirement for steel?
It is minimum. If you recall, we mentioned here somewhere in the paragraph, yes, LD is the shortest length of the bar, in which bar stress can increase from, it is on slide number 17, from 0 to yield strength. So I can say like this, that LD will be greater than or at least equal to, in this way. It is the minimum. But for example, if you are equating them and you are getting 1 meter, suppose, and if you are providing 1.2, so it means you are getting some extra anchorage. But if you will drop it to 0.8 meter, you require 1.8 and you are providing 0.8, then you can imagine that bar will slip early and you can't stress it to Fy in your cross section, in your reinforced member, and a premature failure or brittle failure can take place. Now, I mentioned on slide number 19 that in accordance with either 2.3 or 2.4, now it is the time to discuss the other ACI proposed equation, which is 2.4. Now in 2.4 equation, if you look at the journal framework, still Fy, dB and Fc prime are present according to the journal concept, that directly proportional to Fy, directly proportional to dia, inversely proportional to square root of Fc prime. Along with that, psi t, psi e and psi g are present, and lambda, which we earlier discussed for the 2.3 set of equations. Now a size factor is also given, because this is one equation which will address all dias. So psi s is incorporated here so that I can apply it for all bars, number 19 and lower, and number 22 and larger. So in this way, I can say that I am having one set of equation which is applicable for all the dias And in addition, you will find that in the denominator there is one term present in square brackets which has one factor CB plus KTR divided by dia of bar. Now what is CB, KTR and DB? It is described underneath. First, let's discuss as a whole what is within this square bracket. It is termed as confinement term. So it means it will then address the covers, the ties as confinement. So as a matter of fact, it is understandable that if bar is under development, the presence of confinement around it will improve the bond strength, and hence the LD demand will reduce. So that is the reason it is in the denominator. And it is further mentioned that this confinement term as a whole shall not exceed, once you get the answer, this shall not exceed 2.5, because if it will exceed 2.5, your LD will reduce and the chances of pull-out failure may become severe. So it means they are not allowing you to reduce the LD to a larger extent. That is the reason one upper limit on this confinement term is proposed. Now within this confinement term there is one factor KTR which is named as transverse reinforcement index, and it is described through this empirical equation underneath, and it relates the index with area of the ties, area of the transfer steel, ATR, spacing of the transfer steel, tie spacing. N is the number of bars under discussion, under investigation, that how many bars you are investigating for their development along the length. To understand this ATR, S and N, we have one picture on slide number 25. Now on this slide number 25, there is a cross section given of a beam which has 4-legged ties. So these shear reinforcement is actually responsible to arrest the diagonal shear crack. So we have learned in PRC1 that these ties provide us AV, area of steel in shear, and we get, along with the capacity of concrete in shear plus capacity of steel in shear. So this Vs comes from this AV. And for this section, if I have the dia of the ties equal to 10 millimeter, then I will have the nominal area of one leg of the tie equal to 71 millimeter square. So it is 4-leg tie. So 4 into 71 is the area of steel which is involved in arresting the diagonal shear crack. In addition to this, we learned in the previous lecture that when the tangential component will apply circumferential hoop stresses on the cover concrete, and once those stresses will exceed the tensile strength of concrete, splitting will initiate, and if bars are closely placed and edge cover is also less, the cracking may extend and then it may appear on the edge of the beam. So as a whole, this whole concrete cover will get weakened and it may fall off. And as a result, bond will be reduced. So in this picture, a potential splitting plane has been first conceived, and on that potential splitting plane now, it is investigated that how many legs of the ties are stitching this potential splitting plane. So it is important to note that the same number of legs are also actually stitching this detachment of the cover. So this ATR can be said it is equal to 4 times the legs, 4 times the leg of each tie. So there are 4 legs and leg of one tie is 71 millimeter square. So the total area involved in arresting the potential splitting plane is 4 into 71. So it means these ties have dual role, not only to arrest the diagonal crack, but also to stitch the potential splitting plane. On the same picture, if I draw V-notch mechanism or bottom mechanism, and we have discussed in previous lecture that multiple cracks may initiate and then they may touch the soffit. The ties are also providing stitching action to those splitting failures. So confinement is actually quite beneficial. The ties, that shear reinforcement will play its role in also increasing the bond strength because they are preventing the opening up of the splitting cracks. So in this way, this ATR can be estimated. In addition to this ATR, in the denominator, as I said earlier, S is the spacing. So it means if you have done the shear design, you also will be knowing how much is the spacing of the tie. As I said that in ACI, the minimum recommended is that you must have a spacing of the tie not wider than half of the effective depth. I should use not minimum, I should use S max. So maximum what you can widen the gap between the ties is D by 2. However, the minimum you can bring it even close to 80 millimeter or D by 4 in some cases, 1/4 of effective depth. So just assume that in this beam, if I just for sake of calculation, if I assume that this beam has the effective depth 450 millimeter, so it means D by 2 will then be 225 millimeter. So this is S, spacing of the tie. If you have the actual design and you know that in this portion it is close to support and the spacing of the tie is 100 millimeter or 90 millimeter or 150 millimeter, accordingly you can select S. Then comes the other factor N, which is the number of bars. Number of bars means that in this sketch, if I assume that I am investigating 2 bars and for both bars I am determining the development length, it means my N will be then 2. So here in this equation then I will be substituting the ATR, spacing, number of bars to determine KTR. It is mentioned underneath that ACI allows you as a design simplification to use KTR equal to 0. This is a big favor, but as a matter of fact, with this KTR 0, although even it is present, you have the ties and confinement is there, and you are using KTR equal to 0, it means you are reducing the denominator, and it means you are increasing the LD. So it means you are conservative, little uneconomical, but you are allowed as a design simplification, or in some cases when you are not well informed regarding the shear design, the section details are not available, longitudinal sections, cross sections details are not available, shear reinforcement is not known, then you can use KTR equal to 0. But then be ready, your LD will increase then. And then there, along with this KTR, there is another factor CB, which I can also explain through this picture. CB is the governing cover parameter. And ACI recommends that it is the smaller of the smallest distance measured from surface of the concrete to the center of the bar being developed. So it means if I am investigating so suppose I am working on this bar and I am calculating the smallest distance from center to the surface of concrete. So in this case, this will be the smallest distance from center to the soffit. Yes, there are other distances from center to the edge or from center to this edge, but they are quite big as compared to the distance because it is smaller off from center to this. Assume that this distance is 65 millimeter. Then second is 1/2 of the center to center spacing of bars being developed. Now assume that center to center distance between the bars you can calculate mechanically. If you know the cross section width, dia of bars, you can decide mechanically that what will be the center to center spacing. Just for sake of example, if I select 50 millimeter as center to center spacing, then it is 1/2 of center to center. It means it will be then 25. So out of 65 and 25, it means the smaller is 25. So why they are saying 1/2 of the center to center? As we have seen that when the pressure circle due to splitting component, tangential component, it will make a dia. The center to the radius of this circle, and the second bar will also have a pressure circle. So 1/2 will be taken by this bar and 1/2 will be taken by this bar. So what they are recommending that smallest out of them. So in our case, it is 25 rather than 65. So 1/2 of the center to center means actually how much is the radius available from center to the circumference of the circle, which is the pressure circle generated by the tangential component. So just for taking one analysis, I am selecting that if it is 40 into 4 into 71, what I assumed on the next slide, divide by spacing, I said it is, suppose it is 225, and there are 2 bars under investigation. How much will be then the KTR? I selected 4 bars, each of area 71. I selected S, half of effective depth 225. I'm working on 2 bars, internal 2 bars. So how much will be KTR? Can you respond, please?
25.24.
Good, 25.24. Which ACI recommends us, allows that you can take it 0, but we have this 25.24 with us. And furthermore, I have selected CB, governing cover parameter, least out of 2, and I selected 25. Assuming net center to center distance is 50. So it means now I can calculate this confinement term as 25 plus 25.24 divided by die of bar is, I'm assuming it's again 25. So the confinement term within square brackets will be 50.24 divided by 25. So what will be the answer? 2.0, something like 2.01. So if I will drop this KTR equal to 0, I will get CB over DB, 25 over 25, answer will be 1. But if I'm using it, I'm getting the denominator 2.01, which is still less than the maximum permitted 2.5. So in this way, I can calculate the LD again for the same project which I have earlier calculated LDs. Now if I use this 2.4 equation, all terms are almost same except there is 1.1 now in the denominator, and 1.1 by is also present here in other cases, and I also have 2.01 as the confinement term calculated, and rest numerator is almost same, Fy, Psi t, Psi e, Psi s, Psi g. Psi s I also will take 1 because I am selecting number 22 and larger bar, so Psi s will also be 1. So can you apply this more exact equation 2.4 and tell me how much is the LD? So 420, 1, 1, 1, 1 divided by 1.1 lambda 1 FC prime 28 under root. Then within square terms 2.01. So what will be the final answer for the same project where steel and concrete grade are 420 and 28 megapascal respectively? By using 2.4, what will be the LD? Can you respond?
897.
Sorry, आपकी आवाज ड्रॉप हुई.
8.
Please repeat.
897.
No, no, no. Repeat. ये हो सकता. FY आपका है जी 420 बाकी सारे फैक्टर ही 1 है न्यूमरेटर में, और फिर डिनोमिनेटर में आपके पास है 1.1, लैम्डा फिर 1 है, फिर है 28, उसके बाद ये जो सर्कुलर टर्म है कन्फाइनमेंट टर्म है स्क्वायर ब्रैकेट्स में, इसको हमने लिया है जी 2.01, और dB को हम, अच्छा आप सार dB मल्टीप्लाई भी कर रहे हो, मैं dB को dB
Yes, sir.
एज वेरिएबल, तो इसको अगर आप वेरिएबल ही रखें
35.9
गुड 35.89, तो मैं इसको लेट इट बी, इसको हम 36 कर लेते हैं, 36 dB। तो अभी अगर आप इस स्लाइड पे इसको लिखोगे तो आप कहोगे 36 dB, 36 dB। So you can get a good comparison that this equation is giving you by incorporating confinement term and more realistic estimation, it is dropped to 36। तो सबसे जो मुझे इकोनॉमिकल प्रपोजल लग रहा है इसमें, अगर इस प्रोजेक्ट में all of them are proposed by ACI and you are allowed to use them, so if you want to be safe and as well as economical and still there is no objection raised because all are ACI proposed, तो आप 36 dB will be the good option। इन स्ट्रक्चर ड्राइंग्स आपको पाकिस्तान में बड़ी पॉपुलर एक दो LDs नजर आएंगी प्रोजेक्ट्स में, किसी जगह 40 dB लिखा होगा, irrespective of concrete and steel grade। एक जर्नल बड़ी कॉमन आपको LDs डिजाइन नोट्स में नजर आती हैं 40 dB और 60 dB, very popular figures, but you must know on the background that in calculating them they have used FC prime, FY and also some other applicable modification factors. So this is all about the tension development length of the straight bars. Now in addition to this, I mentioned in my first lecture through this picture that in some cases we can't go straight, particularly in beam column joints. I have a limited gross dimension of the column. Suppose this column dimension is 450 millimeter, H of the column, and you just calculated the tension development length of the straight bar with the concrete grade 28 megapascal, and it was FC prime, and with the steel grade 420, although I did this calculation for bottom bar, I have not done it for top bar. If you will do this for top bar, it may be further magnified by 30%, because for top bar, if the fresh concrete below the bar is more than 300 millimeter, you further need to multiply that LD with 1.3, because IT will get 1.3. Now imagine that you require yielding at this section at the face of the support ASFY into lever arm, crushing on the compression side. So against mu negative, whatever the value is, you have done this design that this steel will be at Fy with the lever arm 5.9. This is how you do the design. And you normally think that the cross section is tension controlled, under reinforced, so steel will yield excessively. It will touch 0.005 or bigger. Finally, concrete will burst, will crush at the compression side. This can happen only if your bar is gripped on either side of the maximum stressed section. Now you have did the calculation and you have the idea, if I'm using exactly your calculated length that you got from one of the proposal of ACI, that your LD is 1.2 meter. So it means this is the zone of development of this top bar. You can't stress the steel to Fy in this region. Yes, onward, you can subject this bar to Fy, no problem. It is grip now. Similarly, on this side, you must have the length not less than 1.2 meter if you will go straight. But if you go straight, your column is hardly 450. And if you go straight, you will get outside the column. And your grip length is hardly 450 then. So options are either thread the bar at the end and then put a nut over here, or weld a plate at the end and get bearing through that plate against the pull out, or hook the bar with 90 degree to get extra anchorage, or bend the bar through 180 degree to get extra anchorage. So then you will be allowed to use, rather than straight bar LD, a hooked bar LD with the subscript H. So the hooked bar will be a bar which will have a 90 degree bend or 180 degree bend, and the hooked bar LDH I will measure from the tail, from the exterior face of the bar onward until this LDH is accomplished. Now if this is the LDH, and if it is, suppose, just for sake of example, I am selecting it is 0.3 meter, then it means from this point onward now bar is gripped and I can stress the steel to Fy, and at the face of the support now I have the full assurance that without bond failure this bar at face of the support can give me Fy, and what I am expecting, excessive yield and tension control under enforced failure, I can achieve by providing hook on one side and going straight on the other side. So this is the application of the hook bar development length. Now this is what I want to now discuss through this slide note 26, that development of standard hooks in tension. What are standard hooks? I will also explain it by describing standard hooks. I have inserted one table from ACI in which standard hooks are pictured, because we need to implement the radius of bend and also the tail of that 90 degree or 180 degree bend. So accordingly then I will call it a standard hook. However, on this slide I want to talk about what will be the LDH against those standard hooks. And in tension, still I'm talking about tension development length, and in tension the standard hooks development length. So it is recommended that LDH for deformed bars terminating in a standard hook, I'm always repeating standard hook. It is not a hooking the bar casually. You have to actually follow the certain guidelines to develop that hook. shall be greater of, it is shall be greater of A through C. A, B, C. Let me first take B. Straightforward, 8 times die of bar. Suppose die of bar is 25. So it means LDH can't be less than 8 inches for number 25 bar. C is direct recommendation, it can't be less than 150 millimeter, 6 inches. Shall be greater of, so if I have not calculated A, at the moment 200 is governing. So the LDH of number 25 should not be less than 200. Then comes the first equation, design equation. Look at the general formulation, Fy numerator. Now die of bar is also in numerator, and along with the superscript exponent 1.5. And Fc prime is in denominator, under root of Fc prime. Along with the 23, it is in standard SI units. So empirical equation has lambda. It has epoxy coating factor. In addition to them, there are some other factors now. Psi R, psi naught, psi C. And these are given in 25.4.3.2. Now, what is this table 3.2 is copied here from ACI. This modification factors of hooked bars are summarized. First, lambda is there, and lambda has almost the same value which we earlier discussed for straight bars, 0.75 and 1 for lightweight aggregate or normal weight aggregate respectively, no change. However, epoxy coating factor is little modified here. They are saying epoxy coated or zinc and epoxy dual coated. For all of them, irrespective of the clear spacing or clear gap, directly they are asking if they are coated, enhance the hooked bar LD by 20%. And for uncoated hooked bars, no enhancement recommended. It is 1. Now there was one other factor, it was psi R. This is very important factor and introduced in this 2019 publication. I will explain it in details because some revision is made in this factor in the latest publication. And this it is also a confinement term, and it is taken the subscript R. It is stated for number 36 and smaller bars, because actually to make a hook for larger dia bar is not feasible. So number 36 is the maximum dia up to which ACI is recommending the guideline. So number 36 and smaller bars with ATH greater than or at least equal to 40% of AHS. I will explain this ATH and AHS on the next slide. So please hold and just at the moment keep this direct recommendation in mind, or it is or in between. If this is not applicable, then you can check this one, or the spacing between the hook bar and S underneath is given is the minimum center to center spacing of hook bars. If it is at least equal to 6 times their dia, so you can imagine such a wide center to center spacing, because if it is a number 25 bar, you can imagine if 25, then from one hooked bar to the other hooked bar, the center to center distance should be at least 150 millimeters, 6-inch center to center gap. If this is the condition present, then you will take the factor 1. So it can be commented that when the hooked bar is quite good confined and there is no interference of other closely placed bar, and in that case actually this confinement will be more effective, and you are not supposed to increase the LD. But if either first or second, if they are not present, then recommended is that hooked bar LD will be enhanced by 60%, quite big jump. So I will explain it ATH and AHS on next slide. So let me move to the next factors, and then I will come back to this confinement term to explain this ATH and AHS. Then comes the other factor. It is again location factor, psi O, subscript O. For number 36 and smaller diameter hooked bars, one terminating inside a column core with side cover normal to the plane of hook, at least equal to 2.5 inch, or there is or in between, with the side cover normal to the plane of hook at least equal to 6 times of their dia itself. Again, quite a big demand. 65 is quite lenient, but this 6 times dia, but there is or. So if first is present, you can select 1, and if second is present, you can also select 1. If not, other cases will come in action, and 25% enhancement is then recommended. So let me sketch this location just to give you idea. Just imagine that you have a column 450 by 450, and it has the beam which is resting on the column. I am drawing the plan of the beam column joint. The beam column joint is the same one which I have shown you on slide number 3. Beam entering the column. So column is 450 by 450, imagine, and beam width is 300, which is entering the column. So beam center line and column center line are matching, are coincident. So normally in beam, the corner bar is kept at a edge cover not less than, clear cover not less than 50 millimeter, and once it enters, then you provide a standard hook at the end. For the second bar also, once you provide the bar, it enters the beam column joint, and then you provide a hook at the end. So I'm drawing a circle to indicate that it is going down now. That is the plan of the section of the beam column joint, and its longitudinal section is this one, suppose, and from top I am sketching it. right? So now if mechanically I calculate 450 minus 300 divided by 2, so on either side I will get 75 additional cover normal to the plane of the hook, because plane of the hook is actually along the bar length, and normal to the plane of hook is actually this dimension. So in this case 75 is already the additional column width, plus we also have the cover on the bar due to the beam provided cover. So if it is even 50 or 60, once you add them up, it will become more than 120, 130. So in this way, normal to the plane of the hook, 65 was there, so I am fulfilling that. It is, or if this first one is valid, fine. With the side cover normal to the plane of the hook, in this case, even this 6 times dia, if number 25 into 6, it is 150. Even if the first one is okay, I will take 1, even if second one is not okay. And this is how you will calculate for hook bars these applicable modification factors. You need to sketch and conceive the beam column joints where hooks are present, and accordingly you have to select the applicable modification factors. And finally, keep in mind that your target is that you want to develop the steel well within the column, well before the face of the support, because if it is not developed well before the face of the support, you can't get that full capacity and the ductility. So then comes the last factor, psi C, concrete strength factor. And I was discussing this factor with section B, and I was little astonished, and because general concept is that when you have a concrete grade less stronger concrete, you get a magnification of enhancement of LDH, because this is the latest introduced modification factor in ACI 2019. And in the commentary, I could not find the justification of this concrete strength factor. And although I tried to search the literature, but at the moment I'm little unconvinced, because what they are discussing here, that if the concrete grade is less than 42, the factor is FC prime over 1.5 plus 0.6. So if you take, suppose in our project, what we are discussing, 28 over 105 plus 0.6. So what will be this factor then? Can you calculate? Anyone online or still waking up?
0.87.
0.87.
0.87.
Good. 0.87. And if your concrete strength is greater than 42, they are recommending Sorry, there was a power failure.